Logan is a more or less self-contained entry in the X-Men franchise, with director James Mangold saying he set it in 2029, around 5 or 6 years after the events of Days of Future Past, to ensure he didn't have to worry too much about X-Men movie continuity. However, Logan still teases numerous connections to the X-Men cinematic universe and drops some nice Easter eggs to the comic books too. Yippee-ki-yay movie lovers, it's Jan here, and in this video I'm going to unpack some of the best Easter eggs and X-Men references in Hugh Jackman's last movie as Wolverine. I've also got an awesome set of Logan merchandise to give away, including a t-shirt, shot glasses, a dog tag bottle opener, and a metal notebook. For a chance to win, all you need to do is subscribe and leave a comment about the Easter eggs or let me know about any I missed. And for bonus ways to enter, check out the Gleam link in the video description below. Quick warning, there will be spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the movie yet, so if that's you, check out my spoiler-free review of Logan and come back here when you've had a chance to see the movie. Wolverine's healing factor isn't working properly in Logan. He's aging and he just doesn't look like the same Wolverine we're used to seeing in the X-Men movies. Still, there's an amusing shout out to Hugh Jackman's signature Wolverine look when the mutant children trim Logan's thick beard while he's asleep and give him back some of that distinctive Wolverine look we're used to from the movies. And there's also a fun little nod to Wolverine's love of cigars when he grabs a handful of them just before leaving the gas station. The Statue of Liberty, which was centre stage during the climactic battle at the end of the first X-Men movie, is referenced a couple of times. First via the Liberty Motel, where Laura and her guardian Gabriela Lopez are staying, and secondly during a conversation between Charles and Logan, who discuss the events of Liberty Island from the first movie. Logan builds on the post-credit scene from X-Men Apocalypse, where we saw dark-suited men from Essex Corp walk into the Weapon X facility at Alkali Lake to collect various blood samples being stored there. In Logan, there's a company called Alkali Transigen, which has taken up the Weapon X program, creating new young mutants like X-23. The name Alkali Transigen could be a double reference to both Alkali Lake, where the Weapon X program started, and Transigen could be a nod to Terrigen Mist. Terrigen is a substance from the comics that when it was released into the Earth's atmosphere slowly started killing off mutants. And there's a curious parallel in the movie when Zander Rice explains how Alkali Transigen distributed gene therapy through soda and breakfast cereals to almost eradicate random mutations. Rice's plan wasn't to exterminate all mutants, however, but to eradicate any mutants that they didn't develop and control themselves. Rice's virus-like gene therapy could also provide an explanation for why Logan's mutant healing factor has been waning. By the way, Zander Rice is the lead scientist responsible for creating X-23, just like he is in the comics. And in Logan, we also learned that Wolverine was responsible for killing Rice's father, which also happened in the comics, when he went berserker during his escape from Weapon X in X-Men Apocalypse. When Logan flips through Transigen case files at the hotel, we see notes revealing some of the source DNA for the young mutants, including DNA from James Howlett, aka Logan, which was used for X-23. Another case file reveals that one of the sources of DNA is Christopher Bradley, who appeared in X-Men Origins Wolverine and was one of the original Team X members. Bradley was able to control electrical devices, but left the team until he was hunted down by Sabretooth to retrieve his DNA for the Weapon 11 program. In Logan, we find out that Professor X has gone into hiding and has to take regular medication to prevent seizures that can cause catastrophe all around him. And at one point in the movie, a radio report mentions the Westchester incident which occurred a year previously, in which various mutants were killed. Westchester is the location of the X-Mansion, and there's a heavy implication that Charles accidentally lost control of his powers, killing many of the X-Men. This is a nod to the Old Man Logan comic storyline, which Logan loosely adapts, where it was Wolverine who accidentally slaughtered the X-Men after being tricked by the villain Mysterio. By the way, there are some cool visual nods to that comic series, such as this shot of Logan punching a guy all the way through his skull with his claws. And there's another picture of Hugh Jackman's Logan looking grizzled and worn with a couple of chest wounds, which is evocative of his look in Old Man Logan. Another comic book series which heavily influenced the Logan movie is Death of Wolverine. In the comic book series, Wolverine also meets his end as he rescues a group of mutants that are being experimented on by Dr. Cornelius, a senior member of the Weapon X program. And in Logan, the young mutants' hideout is a location called Eden, a name that has echoes of the Paradise base that Logan rescues them from in Death of Wolverine. Death of Wolverine also features a Logan whose healing factor has stopped working properly. And when Wolverine uses a serum on himself at the end of the movie, it's a nod to how he gave the mutants he rescued in the comics a regenerative serum. By the way, some of the mutants that Logan and X-23 meet up with at Eden hint towards possible future X-Force members. There's Rictor, an original X-Force member in the comics, with extremely powerful seismic abilities which in the movie at one point he uses against X-24. And another young mutant, Gideon, is an X-Force mutant villain in the comics. Although Wolverine's comic book canary costume was teased in the alternate ending to James Mangold's movie The Wolverine, we don't actually get to see it in Logan, where it probably would have felt out of place in terms of the tone set by the movie. There's still a cool Easter egg to the costume though at the very end of the movie during Logan's funeral, when one of the mutant children is holding a Wolverine toy dressed in the canary costume. The costume also appears earlier via the X-Men comics that Logan finds Laura is reading. The X-Men comics that Laura was reading were made especially for the movie, however one of the issue numbers is 132, which could point to the real comic book Uncanny X-Men number 132, where Wolverine meets Donald Pierce for the first time. As they fight in that comic, Wolverine discovers Donald Pierce's cybernetic arm, which of course he also has in the Logan movie. And Logan's comments as he flips through the comics are an interesting bit of commentary on the status of superheroes in this part of the X-Men universe. When Logan says that maybe a quarter of it happened and not like this, he's commenting on how he's tired of heroes being mythologized and turned into celebrities whose stories are constantly retold and distorted. And it could also be a little sideswipe at the X-Men movie franchise and how it's become known for messing around with the timelines, which end up wiping away the events of whole movie trilogies and introducing new continuity problems at the same time. Nevertheless, Logan still includes a little homage to how Fox liked to sprinkle X symbols into the X-Men movies, when Laura turns the cross on Wolverine's grave onto its side so it resembles an X. Mangold's Logan also channels several non-superhero movies. A couple of particular note are the road movie Little Miss Sunshine starring Abigail Breslin, and the 1953 western Shane, which features a gunslinger hero who wants to leave his past behind. Shane gets various shout-outs in the movie, and it's clear that Mangold feels a real connection between the story of Shane and the legend of Logan, including Logan's desire for a simple life and weariness with his life as a hero, as well as the effect violence has had on Logan's life and the lives of those he loves. By the way, at one point in the movie we see Wolverine's dog tags that he was given in X-Men Origins Wolverine just before undergoing the adamantium bonding procedure. Wolverine actually tossed his dog tags away at the end of X-Men 2 when he abandoned Stryker next to the collapsing dam at Alkali Lake. Those dog tags would have been washed away at the end of X-Men 2, so how Wolverine has them in Logan is presumably because he changed the timeline in Days of Future Past, or they're simply a different version of those tags. And there's a nod to James Mangold's The Wolverine movie via a samurai sword that you can spot in Logan and Caliban's home. It could be the same katana that Yoshida gives Logan in that movie after he saves him during the bombing of Nagasaki in World War II. Or it could be a similar samurai sword that hints to Wolverine's connection to Japan and samurai culture. Now, what other Easter eggs and references did you spot in Logan? And what was your favourite moment or Easter egg from the movie? Don't forget to leave a comment and subscribe for your chance to win this awesome pack of Logan merchandise. And if you enjoyed this video, do please like and share the video with your friends. Coming shortly, I'll have another Logan video looking at some of the scenes and things that didn't make it into the final movie, so be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss that video. And you can tap or click here for more videos you might like. Thanks for watching and see you next time, yippee-ki-yay movie lovers!